Of course, it's Italy 2026, but we have a chance to talk with one of the stars of Pyeongchang 2018. I want to welcome in now Matt Hamilton, who won a gold medal, men's curling. Is it crazy to think, Matt, that was, well, gosh, 8 years ago at this point?
Yeah. I mean, there's times where it feels like it was just yesterday, and there's times where it feels like it was a million years ago. So, still burned into my brain forever. An amazing experience, amazing memory, and just unparalleled feeling of accomplishment after you get that gold medal.
I can imagine. Well, that's literally on your resume forever. I was there in Pyeongchang. I remember talking to you, talking to, the entire team, right? Team Schuster. And you guys were rock stars. I mean, everybody loved you. Curling is one of those sports, and correct me if I'm wrong, people get really excited about curling every 4 years during the Olympics. For you, it's been your lifeblood, but outside of an Olympic year, it's kind of not as popular in other circles, right?
Certainly not, especially not before 2018. Now I feel like after that 2018 gold, people are at least aware of excuse me, people are at least aware of what the sport is. Like before then, you had to like explain it. People thought it was hair or like in the gym doing like arm curls, and now they realize you're a curler. That's the sport on ice, right? Are you the sweeper guy or the thrower guy? And like it's a start. We'll take it as curlers. So yeah, you're right. The popularity definitely spikes in Olympic years, but it is maintained a surprising amount of relevance even in the years post 2018.
Absolutely. Well, you've got a partnership with Swiffer, right? And I assume that's because of the motion, obviously being a part of a curling team.
I mean, what is sweeping if not just intense swiffering, right, on the ice?
There
So
you go.
it was a match made in heaven. I had like people dressing up in Halloween costumes as me and carrying a Swiffer around as like their broom, which was amazing to see. And yeah, so like this partnership with Swiffer has been a long time coming. When they reached out, I was like, it's about time. This was such an obvious slam dunk partnership that I am so excited to be a part of that when it finally came to fruition, it's just been a blast. We've had a lot of fun recording a bunch of social media content. And yeah, we're looking forward to rolling it out and showing you guys what we were able to come up with.
I love to see that stuff. And obviously, you've been having a lot of fun. You talk about, and we've talked about, of course, winning a gold medal, but they made a bobblehead of you as well, too. That's when you know you've really made it, right? When you have your own bobblehead?
Yeah. The two things that were like, Matt, you've made it is when you were a Halloween costume for people on Halloween, and when you've got a bobblehead, and in my case now, three bobbleheads made after Matt Hamilton, which is just wild to see. Fun to sign too. Like whenever people show up, just the other day, I was doing my radio show at a local restaurant, and a guy showed up with my bobblehead in the box, and he's like, "Hey, can you sign the bobblehead and sign the box?" Right, like 2018 gold. Like it was just so cool. So it is. It's weird, and when you have a head as big as mine, bobbleheads are more just like figurines.
Matt, how do you actually sign a bobblehead, though? I understand the box, but if somebody takes it out of the box, where do you sign it? There's not that much room on that thing.
Yeah, so my bobblehead is unique because it's actually a it's like a statue of me sliding. So I've got like
So on
my
the
leg
thigh, then,
out,
basically on the leg?
well, no, they have to have a base to hold it. So the base has it's like a curling ring is what they did. So there's a really nice space right there in the base that I can sign that one. So
Okay.
it is definitely a wild experience signing your own bobblehead and signing autographs or like trading cards with your face on it. It's wild.
Well, and again, you guys won gold. You did something that had never been done before. As a matter of fact, it was just the second Olympic medal ever in men's curling, right? So at the time, and I know now you've had a lot of time to reflect on it, but at the time, did you realize the history that you guys made?
We knew it was the first ever gold medal for the United States in curling, but you really don't realize the repercussions of a gold medal for until after the fact. Like the dream kind of stops at the podium and getting the medal. That's when you wake up and you're like, wow, what a great dream. all the other things that happen after the fact, and like I said, watching curling blow up and knowing I was on the forefront of that was really like surreal and super humbling to get to be a part of that experience. So yeah, like you don't really realize the magnitude of it in the moment, but after some time to reflect and seeing how curling has changed in the U.S. and the perception of the game has changed in the U.S., it's really amazing to know that I got to be a part of it.
I know you've told your story 1,000 times, but for people who haven't heard it yet, how did you initially get started in the sport?
So my dad took up curling when I was like in middle school, and he asked me if I wanted to try it. And being a angsty middle schooler, I was like, Dad, curling's for old people. Like I'm young and cool. Like I want to play soccer. I want to play hockey. Literally like 2 months after my dad had asked me to play, one of my buddies asked me to play, and I was like, oh, that sounds cool. Like curling's not just for old guys. Like this is a cool game to play. So I needed a peer to really like push me over the edge and get into it. And once I started playing, the blend between strategy, teamwork, the physicality of sweeping, and like the finesse of throwing a rock and just like having to step up in clutch moments, like all those things combined, which really make up the essence of curling. I was hooked. It was perfect sport for me.
You know, we hear a lot of stories about athletes who take up the sport and they have similar, similar journeys, right? I'm curious. Your guys' journey is not taking you to Italy, to Milan. How tough was that to see somebody else win the Olympic trials?
I mean, it's never fun to lose, so it's tough. And I think part of what might have softened that blow a little bit is the fact that when I did get my opportunity to go to the Olympics, I did get a gold medal out of it. So like that definitely, after the fact, having some contemplation, looking at the big picture and how I've got to experience something like this. And these guys that are representing the United States, they're friends of ours. All of them are really good guys. Like, it's hard not to be happy for them too. Like, I had such a great experience. Like, and that's kind of the way the sports is, right? Like, it's the next generation's turn to make a name for themselves. And yeah, we definitely had a great season this year, and I think we could have really held our own at the Olympics and made a good run again. But when it comes down to it, sports, the beauty of sports is the underdog can win. And that was the case that we got to experience in 2018. No one thought we were going to win the gold medal. And we got to be that underdog story that came away on top. And unfortunately, we were the top dogs, and the underdogs in Team Casper were able to pull off the upset and get the opportunity to represent the United States at the Olympics. So, yes, it stings, but having some time to think about it and really reflect on the situation, it's that's sports and that's how it goes. And these guys deserve every bit of it because they've worked just as hard as I have throughout my career, and it's their turn to get after it. So I wish them the best of luck.
Matt, you said curling is a close-knit community, and I can attest to that. I've actually visited Ardsley Curling Club in Westchester County, New York, where Danny Casper was a member, still obviously has a lot of ties and a lot of friends there, and they're rooting as hard for him as anybody else. What can you tell us about Team Casper? And you said you guys are all close, obviously. Do you think this team has a chance to replicate your team's success, Team Schuster?
Team Casper, they're green. They have not played at a men's world championship yet. They've got some junior world curling experience and international experience, but they don't have a ton of men's level curling international experience. So that's kind of a double-edged sword, right? They could let that moment be a little too big for them and feel the pressure of being at the Olympics for their first big international event and crumble like we know some athletes do. But knowing Danny and knowing the rest of Team Casper, these guys are players. They know how to play this game. They probably won't even realize how big of a moment that they're in and just go out there and play loose because they like to have fun on the ice. Aiden Oldenburg, their lead, is kind of like me. He's high energy. He's got a fun look. He's going to be repping a headband at the Olympics, and got what it takes to do it. It's just can they avoid the pressure of the big moment and just go out there and have fun. That's how they have the most success. And I'm confident they can do it because the Olympic trials are the biggest moment they've experienced going into like in any event they've ever played in. And they were amazing at the Olympic trials. They played fantastic. So I think if they can replicate that kind of energy that no one has expectations for us, so let's just go out there with no expectations for ourselves and just play the game we love. I think they could come away with some hardware and maybe hear their national anthem at the top of the podium.
Well, that's well said because that's exactly what you guys experienced. But correct me if I'm wrong, didn't you get the women's curling gold medals when you guys were up there?
We certainly did. We certainly did. The Dominic Marquis of Switzerland nudged one of the guys on our team on the podium, and he looks at his medal. He goes, "Hey, did you get the women's medal too?" And sure enough, we did. So the fun little Olympic trivia fact for you is the medal I got on the podium and kind of cried to the national anthem to was then taken away from me after I got off the ice and given the correct one off the ice, off the podium. So it's awesome. I think it's a hilarious story. The medals are extremely similar. Like the only difference is the WO in front of men's. So like I can totally understand the mistake being made. So like no one felt slighted or anything by it. We just more think of it was fun and fun story.
Oh, I think it's a fun story too. Matt, I got two more questions for you. We'll keep them quick because I know we're running short on time. Number one, if you were not a curler and you could be another Olympic athlete, what sport would it be and why?
Okay, so I will give you two answers. If it's Winter Olympics, I think I would like to do like luge or skeleton. I grew up on a pretty large hill at my house, and we did a lot of sledding in the winter, and it's always a rush. And we would even set up like cones and stuff for weaving, doing like a slalom style. So like I think that like I always had fun with that, and I think luge would definitely be something I could get into. And for summer, especially with it being introduced not long ago, I believe in Rio, golf. I love golf. It's a great game. It is always humbling. You're never competing against your opponent. You're always competing against yourself and trying to put your best score out there. And yeah, golf and curling have a lot of similarities with pre-shot routine, controlling your breathing, controlling your heart rate, rising to pressure moments. And like I think there's a lot of continuity between the two sports. So I think golf would be the summer sport, and yeah, luge or skeleton for the winter.
Okay, since you brought up golf, I do have an additional question. So now I have two more questions for you, if you don't mind. What'd you think of Rory McIlroy winning the Grand Slam at the Masters last year? That was a huge deal, and I felt for the guy for how close he's come before.
I mean, seeing people achieve their dream or like achieve a goal that they've had for a really long time is always fun to watch. Like that's why I love the Olympics so much. You get to see these people that only get that world stage every 4 years, and they do it. They make it happen. They make that dream happen. So to watch Rory achieve that dream, and especially with how close he's come and fell short, like it was really cool to watch.
I agree. Last question for you, Matt. In terms of curling, let's bring everything back, obviously, to the sport that made you famous in 2018. Obviously, you support the current generation of curlers. What is the future of U.S. curling in your mind, and where the sport can take everyone?
The sport's growing. There's more curling clubs now than there was in 2018, which to me means more people playing, which means the cream will rise to the top. That's more competition. Those players that are falling in love with it in the Carolinas and Florida and Arizona, Texas, they have a chance to be Winter Olympians in a location that doesn't really feel conducive to curling. So I have very high hopes for curling and where it's going, because the United States has a great program of building up juniors and getting them prepared to get to men's and women's curling and find that that thing that drives them and gets them into the next level. And potentially compete at the Olympics. So it's exciting to see where it's going. I hope to have a continued part in this role, whether it's as a mentor or as a consultant on things. But I think the future of U.S. curling is bright.
Love it. And we can see your shirt, or we saw your shirt briefly, but that is it's what, four curling stones on your shirt? Any particular relevance?
Evolution.
Love it.
Yeah, it's the evolution of a curling stone. So they used to be really cool with no plastic and metal handles. Now they've modernized them a little bit, and I don't think they look as cool now as they did in like the 70s and 60s. But yeah, like every sport, our game's constantly evolving, and athletes have to evolve and adjust, and that's part of what just makes sports great.
Hey, you helped make curling cool. Just remember that. You with the gold medal around your neck. Matt Hamilton, 2018 gold medalist in men's curling from the Pyeongchang Games. Thanks so much for the time, Matt. Best of luck moving forward.
So thank you very much for having me.